Mom texted, "No space for you or your kids this year." Sis added, "But you can still cook." During dinner, the doorbell rang delivery for everyone but them. I stared at the group chat. "Go to your sister's. No space for you or your kids this year." Then my sister, "But you can still come early and cook like always." My parents' house has 4 bedrooms and a finished basement, but apparently not one room for me and my 2 kids. For context, my sister Claire gets the master guest room every single year. I get the basement couch if I'm lucky. She's the golden child. I'm the freelance designer who never quite found stability. That's what Mom said once at dinner while I was sitting right there. New Year's Eve, I showed up anyway with my 8-year-old son and 6-year-old daughter. Spent 3 hours cooking while everyone laughed in the living room. My hands smelled like garlic. My back ached. My daughter fell asleep on the couch. When dinner was served, they sat me at the kids' counter with plastic plates and juice boxes. 8 chairs at the main table, all filled. Mom, Dad, Claire, her husband Greg, their twins, even Greg's parents somehow scored an invite, but not me. Then Claire brought out an expensive cake and announced her 3rd pregnancy. The room exploded with cheers. Mom started crying. Dad hugged Greg. I stood there holding leftovers I was wrapping for my kids. "You're not gonna say anything, Jake?" Claire asked with a smirk. "Congrats," I whispered. At 10 p.m., just as everyone shouted, "Happy New Year," the doorbell rang. Uncle Rob walked in the family black sheep we hadn't seen in years. He wore a worn leather jacket and carried a brown envelope. "Hey, Jake," he said. "Sorry to drop by uninvited." My mom's voice went sharp. "Robert, what on earth are you doing here?" He stepped inside without waiting. Heard the whole family was together. Thought I'd mention the voicemail I got about Dad's will changes. The room went dead silent. Rob turned to Claire. "Congrats on getting the entire family trust moved into your name last month. Must be nice to get help from family money." I felt my stomach drop. "What trust?" "The one your grandfather set up for both his grandchildren," Rob said, looking at me. "Split equally. Your name and Claire's." He handed me the envelope. I opened it with shaking hands. Bank statements, signatures, transfer documents, everything. My grandfather had left money for both of us. But 5 years ago, right after my divorce, someone crossed out my name in ink and wrote, "Successor beneficiary, Claire Matthews." They'd given everything to her. My mom stepped forward. "Jacob, please. This was your father's decision. We were thinking of what's best for everyone." "Everyone?" I said. "I have a family too. 2 kids. Remember? You told me there wasn't space for them tonight." "You're not exactly the most financially responsible person, Jake." Something snapped. "So instead you just erased me?" I looked at my dad. "When Grandpa died, you told me there was nothing left. You said it all went to taxes and medical bills." He didn't answer, just looked away. Rob pointed to the documents. "The lawyer who handled the original trust said your signature on the transfer was forged. He kept copies." My dad's face went pale. That's when I stopped being their obedient son. 2 weeks later, I showed up to another family dinner with Rob and the original documents. We had proof of forgery, misuse of estate funds, and the real kicker proof they'd illegally funded Greg's company with trust money. I put 2 pre-drafted amendment forms on the table. "Sign these and restore everything as Grandpa intended. Half for me, half for Claire. Or I file for forgery and every financial record from the last decade becomes public." Greg nearly dropped his wine glass. Claire went gray. My dad stared at me for a long moment. Then slowly, he picked up the pen and signed. Mom followed, crying silently. Claire hesitated, but Greg whispered something and she signed too. It was over in minutes. As I reached the door, Dad said, "You'll regret doing this." I turned. "No, I'll regret not doing it sooner." Within a month, the trust was legally split again. Equal accounts for both families. I haven't spoken to my parents since.